Hey everyone, it's Roxy Horror back again. I'm going to be doing a review of Zombie. This movie was, it was not my favorite, and I'll go into why, but first I want to just say that this review contains spoilers, so if you have not seen the movie Zombie and you want to watch it, please stop this video now and go watch it, and then come back and watch what I have to say about it. Okay, moving forward. To me, this movie was just not memorable. I hate to say that, but I was bored. Scenes just tended to drag on, and it was just, it wasn't, I can see where they were going for the time, because this was like a new type of, the makeup was great. This was a new type of, makeup that wasn't being used before. So this is something that that was revolutionary for the time, which I completely understand. But watching it as a first timer today, I'm just like, oh, this is kind of weak. I mean, I understand, but this is where I lay. So yeah, I mean, and just in terms of everything, it just wasn't my favorite. And sadly, it was kind of boring. So, the makeup was the revolutionary thing for this movie, and also there was a shark scene that we'll get into later, but that really captivated people. And honestly, I feel like it was pretty memorable in terms of everything. It was the scene, one of the scenes that was definitely gripping, and it was uncomfortable. But there was something that took me out of the scene that just kind of, it just kind of fell flat for me, because I was so taken out of it by something, which I'll get into later. So I'm going to go into what I liked about the movie. So there are some things that were really great. The makeup being one of the things for the time. I mean, I can see where people would be scared back in those days with makeup that, really made people look disgusting. So, I mean, I definitely get it. It just didn't scare me because I've seen worse, and, yeah, that's just how I felt about it. I loved the idea of voodoo coming into this. Now, I am a spooky person, and you all know that I love my tarot cards and all that stuff. So, like, the voodoo aspect was really interesting to me. It's really sad that they didn't go further into that, because that would have really made the whole movie come together. I wish that we got to see more of that, and we didn't. And I think that's one of the things that kind of fell flat. But I love the idea of voodoo being the reason that people are raising from the dead. So, I mean, that's, sadly, it didn't really get explored that much. So, I mean, it is what it is, but yeah. I love the subtle scares. The subtle scares were honestly one of the best things that they could have done, because I've just gotten so desensitized to jump scares, and not all, like, sometimes I do still jump at jump scares, but I don't know, it just didn't really grip me. Like, they just don't really grip me that much anymore. Where the subtle scares, and this goes into the wife's death, which is basically one of the best scenes in the movie. like the subtleties of the zombies coming to the door and like reaching their hand in, and she's trying to shut the door and his hand is in the door, and it just really, like, the subtleties and the slowness getting to the point was just, it was so well done. Just I just love the fact that, you know, it really didn't rely on that to scare people. It was like the aspect of these things won't stop coming for you, even if you know they're there, kind of thing. And that is unsettling. The wife's death, so we're going to go into this. Best scene of the movie, by far. It was just incredible. So she's taking a shower, and you're like, oh great, she's naked, so she's gonna die. Like, this is obviously going to happen. And she goes into the shower, and you see a hand come up on the window, and you're like, oh my gosh, something's gonna pop out and kill her. And the whole time you're just waiting for something to pop out, and it never does. And it's so well done. It's just the dread. And then all of a sudden there's a hand in the door, and then she's trying to slam the door on the hand, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like, you know that the zombie is there and he's not stopping. And it's so well done. And then he grabs her head, and he's just like slowly pulling her into this piece of wood that he smashed his hand through, and he's slowly pulling her towards it, and it finally goes through her eye. And then when you see her later, they're just devouring her body, which it was one of the most well done body, just, oh my gosh, it was disgusting. But it was so well done. And the way that she died, and I think it was kind of metaphorical because she couldn't see the underlying issues to everything that was going on. So, like, I really liked how they brought that in to it as well. And I mean, it was top notch. It was very well done. However, that was pretty much the only good scene in the movie. So, yeah. I like that there was a bleak ending. Like, you know, they're all heading to the city, but the city is overtaken by zombies. And so they don't really have anything to go back to. So what's gonna happen? So I really liked that ending, where it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Like, yeah, they survived, but at what cost? Like, what are if they don't have anything to go back to? Now we're gonna go into what I disliked, and I hate to be a sourpuss in my in my reviews, but this movie was just, it was not great. I like, some of the effects looked like it was like a cake that was falling apart, you know, and not like someone's skin. That kind of took me out of it, especially when they were like on the beach. I was just like, this entire movie could go in an everything is cake compilation and it would work perfectly. But yeah, I mean, that's just how I felt about some of the effects. And I get why. I mean, they didn't really have a lot to work with back then, so, you know, I understand, but also it just took me out of the movie. Yeah, as I was saying before, like, the wife was the only good scene, where she died. Like, a lot of the deaths just weren't memorable. Like, they would get eaten or bit or whatever, and I don't know, it didn't really grip me. And as I said, some of the effects look like cake, so I was just like taken out of the deaths just in general. So yeah, I mean, and also the plot was weak. Like I said before, loved the idea of the voodoo, but like we never went into it. Like it was never explored. So it just kind of left us wondering what started the whole thing. What happened to get this cursed island to be cursed? Like where did that come from? And I really don't think we ever like got into that, because it was basically just watching a survival story unfold. Which also goes into, there was no character development. Like none of these all of these characters were expendable. So like even the ones that survived, I was just like, okay, cool. Like what's next? You know? So I mean, that just kind of, I don't know. If you connect with the characters, I think that's when you can really get into the story. And I just didn't get that in this movie. Oh my gosh, the soundtrack. Come on. Literally played the same songs over and over again to like where they were in the story, and like where, like if they were in town on this island, they were playing like jungle music and stuff, and it was very like stereotypical music for where they were. So I don't know, that just kind of took me out of it. And just listening to the same music over and over, I was like, oh god, okay, when is this gonna end? And this happens in a lot of zombie movies too, but this one was just aggravating because the whole thing was boring. So it was just kind of like, okay, where are we going here? Now we're gonna get into the shark scene. I really dislike nudity for the sake of nudity in movies, and this is not me being a prude. I get why you would have, like, if there's a shower scene, you're gonna have someone be naked. Like, I get it. So the wife taking the shower, I didn't have an issue with that. I was just like, okay, she's taking a shower, whatever. I mean, whatever. But like, when she's going down in the water to go scuba diving, who fucking scuba dives topless? That is like the most dangerous thing to do down there. You're supposed to be wearing like a wetsuit or something to cover up your body, because coral can be poisonous and all this stuff. So I am an outdoor adventure enthusiast. So if you screw up something that has to do with one of my hobbies, it's gonna take me out of the movie. And this completely took me out of the movie. I was like, there's no way that this woman would be going topless down there and living. And then, you know, the shark coming by, and it was just, the toplessness took me completely out of it, because I was just like, why is that even there? I don't understand. Like, this scene would have been perfectly fine without her being topless. It would have been even better, because she would have at least known what she was doing and still have gotten into this disastrous situation. So yeah, it just took me out of the whole thing. And then when the zombie was underwater, I mean, that whole thing was pretty cool. But again, I was just focused on, why is she swimming topless? Like, why is she doing this? So yeah, I mean, overall, I did not like this movie. This is my first negative review, like really, really negative review. I couldn't get into it. There were a lot of things that were just kind of left blank for me that I wish would have gotten a little more in depth. There were a lot of things that took me out of it because of the effects, or nudity for the sake of nudity. And overall, there was just one really good scene, and that's it. And there's probably scenes that I am not talking about that were okay, but they just weren't memorable to me. So really, I mean, it's just not my movie. Overall score, I don't know what you guys are gonna say about this, but I think I'm being nice. I gave it a 1.5 out of 5. Just because of the wife's death and the voodoo aspect. Otherwise, it would have been a 1. And I really think I am being nice here. But yeah, that's my zombie review. So if you liked it, my next review is going to be 28 Weeks Later, which is my favorite movie out of the series. So you'll get my in-depth look at that, and I hope to see you there. Stay spooky, guys.